Busch Gardens Williamsburg is my favorite theme park in the SeaWorld entertainment chain. They're currently home to 9 roller coasters, various flat rides, animals, and sections themed after individual countries. In this video, I'll tell you everything you need to know about this world-class theme park and why I think it's one of America's best. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is located just southeast of Williamsburg, Virginia, and is one of the state's marquee theme parks. It competes directly with King's Dominion near Richmond, which is an hour drive away. That's why they've become strategic with what rides they want to put into their park. Since Busch Gardens has a B&M hypercoaster, dive coaster, and inverted coaster, you don't see any of those 3 models at King's Dominion. Likewise, this is why there's no Giga Coaster at Busch Gardens, because King's Dominion already has one. Probably the toughest competition they've had in recent memory is when King's Dominion announced the closure of Volcano the Blast Coaster, which is an intimate launch coaster. To follow, Busch Gardens just a couple months later, when Volcano was still making headlines, announced their own intimate launch coaster, Pantheon. As much as I love both parks, it's clear that Busch Gardens Williamsburg is going in the brighter direction as they get so much investment from the SeaWorld entertainment chain. As I said, they have 9 roller coasters, but they have another on the way next year, which is going to be an intimate family coaster, and another rumored for a later date, which is supposed to be an intimate shuttle coaster. Man, Intimate and SeaWorld must really get along. Running through their lineup, let's start with the basics. The park is home to a coaster for kids. This is called Grover's Alpine Express. It's a Zero Force model, which is a great option for the little ones as it's smooth and packs in a little bit of speed. The next level up would be Invader, a GCI family thrill ride, which is a little too intense to be a true family-friendly coaster in my opinion. But I think that's where the Intimate Family Coaster comes in, so that'll be a good fit for the park next year. There's also Loch Ness Monster, an aerodynamics classic with a long 3,200-foot layout. The ride is known to be the only roller coaster still operating with a set of interlocking loops. It's a really cool visual on a really special ride that the park has been taking great care of. Probably the next mildest coaster is Verbolten, but my god, this thing packs a wallop. It is so much more aggressive than it appears, especially in that indoor bit after the first launch. The ride has some surprises that I won't spoil, but I love this coaster and I think Verbolten is one of the best rides in the park. You've also got a Skyrocket 2 clone here called Tempesto. This is a compact triple launch coaster, pretty underwhelming in my opinion. And then you get to the stuff thrill seekers will really get a kick out of. Like Busch Gardens Tampa, its sister park in Florida, Busch Gardens Williamsburg has 3 diverse Bolliger and Mab Yard creations. The most iconic is Apollo's Chariot, an out and back hyper design through the woods of Virginia. This thing has not aged at all. It is so smooth, but the airtime is pretty weak compared to other hyper coasters, which makes sense since it was the first B&M hyper. I like this ride, but I don't love it like a lot of people. Griffin is a B&M dive coaster with traditional over-the-shoulder restraints, so thank God for that. It's got 2 great vertical drops, some floaty inversions, and the beautifully photogenic splashdown section. My favorite ride here pre-2022 was Alpengeist. This is one of the most intense B&M inverted coasters ever built. While the second half is dull, the first is crazy intense with some ridiculous power to it. Now, I love Alpengeist, but any roller coaster enthusiast will tell you that it's not really an acceptable standout attraction for this park. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where Pantheon comes in. The park's newest coaster opened just a few months back and it is absolutely incredible. It's the very reason why Busch Gardens Williamsburg was able to dethrone King's Dominion in my opinion. They no longer have any gaps in their coaster lineup, which is amazing. Pantheon has stellar lunge sections going forwards and backwards, some outstanding airtime variety, and 2 very unique inversions. Excluding the theming, I couldn't ask for anything more from Pantheon. Its layout is exceptional and the speed at which it takes its elements are dang near flawless. Aside from the roller coasters, they have a handful of flat rides worth noting. Unfortunately, no dark rides, but I think SeaWorld as a company has been straying away from those. Finnegan's Flyer is an S&S Scream and Swing. Those are always fun. Mock Tower is a really tall drop tower, but I don't hear very good things about it, so I've never bothered to try it. Oh, and I've got to shout out Escape from Pompeii. This shoot the chute style attraction has some incredibly well done theming. The section on the interior is genuinely close to Disney level. It is so good. They also have 2 other water rides here. They have a small log flume, and I know soon they're going to be reopening their River Rapids ride. But ultimately, I like to spend most of my time here riding the coaster, so I don't pay too much attention to the park's other attractions. Next up, I want to talk about the theming, landscaping, and setting. The park has won the Golden Ticket Award for most beautiful theme park year after year, and I think it's fairly easy to understand why. You've got this huge lake running through the park, which the park dubs their very own Rhine River. There's statues everywhere, stunning architecture, and lots of European reference since different sections of the park are themed to different countries. For example, when you walk in, you're in the England section. Where Finnegan's Flyer is the Ireland section. You've got New France, backed by Griffin and Invader, Italy, where Tempesto and Apollo's Chariot are, and then my favorites, Germany and Oktoberfest, which have some incredible architecture and some of the park's best rides. It's also where you're going to find my favorite place to eat in the park, Das Festhaus. There's some great German options and various other items to satisfy your taste buds, and the atmosphere in here is just great. During my first visit to the park, there was a thunderstorm that temporarily shut down the rides, and while we waited for it to pass, we watched a performance of a bunch of people dancing to German music. It was so cool. In general, the park's atmosphere is at the top of its class. The audio all throughout the park, the setting amongst the trees, and the theming ties in a great overall vibe that I quite quite enjoy. Now, the last thing I'll mention, and this is probably my biggest complaint about the park, is like many of the other SeaWorld properties, their operations have never been the best. The only ride with notable operations are Verbolten when they're using the different load and unload sections, but every other attraction has below average operations. For a park of this quality, I would certainly expect a little bit better. Okay, I lied. There's one more thing I want to say. Busch Gardens Williamsburg came in clutch last time I was on the East Coast because somehow we miscoordinated a trip to Hershey Park with New Jersey and Connecticut's spring break schedule. So because that park wasn't open, we needed to find another park to visit. We were already all the way in Pennsylvania after all. So we ultimately settled with Busch Gardens Williamsburg, since not only was Pantheon a big incentive to revisit, but they also were the only park for hundreds of miles open during the week. This is because they've recently shifted to a year-round schedule, so the only days they're likely to be closed are off-peak Mondays and Tuesdays. That's something I genuinely really appreciate, and I think it's a great move for the park since it gives people in the area the chance to ride thrilling roller coasters in the cold winter months and the weekdays. Anyways, that's going to wrap up my Busch Gardens Williamsburg review. For this park's final score, I will be giving them a 9.5 out of 10, and the more they add stuff and improve guest experience, the closer they get to a perfect score. This park is absolutely fantastic, and I look forward to visiting every time. If you were to ask me what I think of this park last year after my first visit, I would have said that they desperately need a standout attraction. But with Pantheon, I think there's enough reason to confidently say it's the best park in Virginia and the best park in the chain. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give me a like, comment, and subscribe. By the time this video releases, I'll actually be in Europe for the first time, so expect a lot of vlog content coming soon. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you very soon. Bye guys.